Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about another sport that I think has an interesting mechanism instead of a tabletop game, which is what I usually talk about, and that is disc golf. So, disc golf is kind of like what you think of as standard golf, but with special frisbees, where you are teeing off from a certain place and trying to get the disc into a chain metal basket that is somewhere in the distance. It could be through a lot of trees. It could be through an open field. It really depends on how the course is structured. And while that isn't my favorite mechanism, I do love how the wide variety of course structures that you can come up with a disc golf course. You can have a very short hole or short basket that is obstructed by a lot of different things, or you have to go around a bend, or you can have a very long basket that is open in a field, or maybe it starts in a forest and ends in a field, or starts in a field and ends in a forest. Really different formats for different baskets and different courses. But my favorite thing about disc golf, this I really love, is the wide selection of discs. I don't have many at this point, but I can't even really describe how it feels when you're about to take a shot, to have a choice, kind of to reach into your bag and say, this is the disc that I want for this shot. It feels really good. It feels like you have this arsenal of options. And I've seen people with way more discs than I have, 20, 30 discs. And so they get to look down at this arsenal of options and choose the disc that feels right for that moment and for that shot. And it might depend on whether you're trying to curve around something or bend around something. It might depend on the distance. It might depend on the wind or other factors, or your own strengths and weaknesses for your forehand throw, your backhand throw, all that. So, for example, I have a couple different discs that are distance discs, and so when I'm trying to throw a far distant throw, I will choose from among these discs. I like the cheetah for my forehand. It has a nice bend to it, and it might just be psychological. I don't know. There are different factors in here, including like the speed, the distance, the how much stability the disc has. There are these numbers on the disc that talk about that. But you can also kind of go by feel, by what feels right to you. So I like this one for forehands that bend. I like my katana for really long backhand distance throws, although I'm still working on stabilizing it because it is an unstable disc. Here's a very stable disc, the Escape Fusion here, and this is another distance driver. Then I have my Shark for mid-range, and so I could have probably a lot more mid-range discs. Right now I just have one. When I start to get close to the basket, I go with my putt and approach disc here. And then I have my bullfrog, my heavy bullfrog with a much heavier rim. You can see the difference here between that rim and like the cheetah. The bullfrog is for when I get really close to the basket and I just want a short throw that I can definitely get into the basket. But I just love this concept of approaching a problem in a sport, in a game, and being able to reach into this basket or this bag of options and saying, this is the one that's right for this moment. This is what I need. I was trying to think of parallels to tabletop games. I'm sure there are. I mean, like when I play Magic, for example, I am looking at a hand of cards and I'm choosing often one of those cards to play. This is the card that I need to play at this moment. But it's nice that all of the discs are available at any time. There's nothing in the game that says that I can't throw a distance driver when I'm 10 feet from the basket. There's nothing that says that when I'm 500 feet from the basket that I can't throw my putting bullfrog. I can choose that if I really want based on the conditions and based on how well I know these discs. I really love that. And I'm curious to see if you have any other parallels, or if you can think of any parallels to tabletop games when you get to have a problem and you get to approach it in the exact way that you want at that moment, with from among an arsenal of different options that you've chosen. I chose these discs for myself. I wanted these for myself, and which is also kind of a fun touch. I chose this, and now I get to use these in the way that I want. Or if you just want to talk about your favorite mechanism in disc golf, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. Thanks.